you haven't been here before, I would like to welcome you. The channel's just about me, vlogging, cooking, what's going on in my daily life. But today we're focused on Thanksgiving and dinner. And like I said, welcome back. And if you've never been here, stay. There's nothing any worse in my past, and I'm going to share stories with you. If you come across my channel, I want you to share some stories with me. I've never did a live stream before, so be patient with me. And just if you see me,
stop it.
okay. It says it's live on the phone, 57 seconds.
No, go ahead.
Actually, go on your computer and see if you
My
see.
computer's unplugged.
You can go on your phone, can't you?
Yeah.
So, like I said, this is my very first time going live, so we're trying to see if I'm actually live. If anybody's watching this out there and sees me, let's see. Oh, okay, so I am live. My son just texted me and said hello. Can't tell. Did you hear that, Philip?
Okay,
So I am live.
not showing up over here at all.
Okay, probably because I'm on the same thing. So anyway, I'm going to share stories with you, and I hope that you can share stories with me. Tell me where you're from, and all that good stuff. So I'm going to take a drink of my tea, and now I'm going to get on into it. So normally on prior Thanksgivings, I would have normally made homemade pies. I love to bake. I love to cook. But this year, the price of things are just really skyrocketed. I'm on a limited income, most people are. So I came across these pies at Walmart that were on sale for $5.22. And honestly, a bag of brown sugar, and if I was going to make a pie, just say an apple pie, the brown sugar would have been $4. The apples would have been, buy 3 different sets of apples, 3 apples a piece. That's around $6, $7 right there. The sugar, the white sugar, the cinnamon, one apple pie could end up costing you $13, $14 to make it homemade. So this year, let's see, Marie Callender's made it for me, and I purchased it for $5.22. And one of the things I do love about the holidays so much, oh yes, I'm going to give myself a pat on the back right now. Earlier in practice, I said this. I said, if you've been to my channel before and you notice something gone, it's 60 pounds right here. And a little bit right up in here on my face, but mostly right here. So that's one of the things I'm most thankful for. And share what you're thankful for this year. And please keep everything courteous and nice. I'm not a foul person. I don't want no foul behavior or no foul comments down below. But back to the pies. So I personally love lemon pie, $5.22. And this is a pie that I normally wouldn't make homemade because it's not it's not in my wheelhouse of baking. I can bake good, but not this particular pie. So I got a lemon meringue for $5. And like I was saying, one of the things I love most about the holidays is that you get to eat. This year I'm going to keep it in moderation. I'm going to eat everything I want to eat. I'm just going to keep it in moderation. And you do you. If you want to eat a little bit more, eat a little bit more. You want to eat a little bit less, eat a little bit less. I'm not trying to shame anybody. We are what we are. And I'm happy. I'm happy with me. You be happy with you. So right now I'm going to show you. I got this apple crumb apple pie. Like I was saying, this pie, if I bought all the singular ingredients, the spices, well, with spices, you're talking probably $30 for the pie, and I'm just talking basic ingredients: the brown sugar, the apples, cinnamon, sugar and stuff. So we got lemon pie, apple pie. Well, this truly is one of my favorite pies in the world, is cherry pie. And boy, does cherries, they don't love me, but I love them. But I eat it once a year at Thanksgiving. The only time I eat a cherry pie. Like I said, I love them. They don't love me. So we got lemon, apple, cherry. This is another pie that I do love, peach pie. With the price of peaches, I get about the peaches, and that's about it. The price of the peaches for one nice peach pie, oh my goodness. And you can't even really buy them this time of year fresh. I guess you could have bought them when they were in stock or in season and frozen, but this is what I got: $5 peach pie. Why I'm thinking about it, I'm gonna go ahead and step over here and I'm gonna preheat my oven to 350 so I can start popping these pies in the oven. And yes, this is Thanksgiving, day before, and I'm doing this. I always do cook my food, some of the foods, the day before Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna cook the ones that I think are appropriate to cook the day before, and some of them I think require being cooked the day before just because they taste better once they've set overnight. So I'm gonna go ahead and preheat that oven. And one of the things I'm also going to, I'm going to go ahead and finish the pie before I get sidetracked. And look at that, a delicious banana cream pie. That's just wonderful. So I'm going to go ahead and take the banana cream pie and the lemon pie. I'm going to go ahead and put them back in the refrigerator. You know what? I'm going to just set them to the side and let them thaw. Make them thaw overnight. Or, you know, I don't want them to be cold. I hate cold pie. So I'm going to set them to the side, and I'm going to go ahead and let my oven preheat. One of the things I like to do, and this is in everyday cooking, you know, no matter what I'm cooking, one of the things I like to do before I cook is make sure I have all the ingredients, because over my 50 plus years, well, I haven't been cooking for 50 plus years, but my time cooking, I don't know how many times I've had to run to the store in the middle of cooking because I didn't have the right ingredients, or all the ingredients, I should say. So I'm going to show you the ingredients that I'm going to be using. Just say it.
18 watching.
Oh, cool. I have 18 people watching. I'm so happy. So I'm going to show you all the ingredients that I'm going to be using, and I don't know where the figure the government got that this Thanksgiving dinner is going to cost $114. Let's see. That's $5, $10, $15. Spent $25 just, well, $27 just on the pies. But I'm going to go through and show you the ingredients that I'm going to be using for my Thanksgiving dinner. So green beans is definitely not one of my favorite vegetables, but my partner absolutely loves them. It's almost a have to at Thanksgiving and Christmas. So I found these Glory green beans. They're seasoned Southern style green beans, and they're actually really, really good for a canned green bean. And I don't like frozen green beans myself. So when I normally do cook them, I just buy a Del Monte regular bean, get me a ham hock or something, put in there and let them cook for a long time in the steamer. But I'm using these. I'm using 2 cans of Glory Foods seasoned Southern style green beans. They're actually pretty good, and they're not bad. They're not bad price. They're only $2.40 a can. So what is that? $4.80 for the green bean casserole. And I'll also be using cream of mushroom in the casserole. So I'm gonna put. Right now I'm just showing you the ingredients I'm going to be using. So I'm going to be using cream of mushroom, Campbell's, for that. I'm going to be making yams, so I'm going to be using 2 cans of Bruce's yams. And a lot of the times, I mean, if you want to go out and buy fresh yams, pretty much the same technique is going to apply. You're going to apply almost the same ingredients, the same seasonings, and you're going to cook it around the same amount of time. Yams right now, they used to be affordable. Right now, they're like $1.20 a piece, when I can buy a can of yams for $2.20 a piece. And I know I keep on mentioning price, but I don't know anybody who's not considering price when it comes to cooking. Thanksgiving dinner, supper, breakfast. I mean, I don't know about you, but 3 meals a day has kind of went out the window around this place. Not that I ever ate breakfast, but even if I wanted to, I couldn't afford it. Thank goodness, price of eggs went down, everything else skyrocketed. So I guess we can eat eggs. If you make homemade stuffing, more power to you. That's nice. even when prices were down, that's not my thing. I'm not really a big fan of stuffing, and so I don't find that homemade stuffing is that much better than box stuffing. I'm sure people who like real stuffing would disagree with me, and that's okay. But for me, I'm going to make stovetop stuffing, and this I think I got this on sale for like $1.30 a box. So we're going to be using that. And of course, this calls for, and when you're shopping and buying your ingredients for your dinner, even the regular dinners, you want to flip over your boxes. You kind of want to see what ingredients that it calls to cook this, like butter or whatever. You just always want to, when you're cooking, when you buy these box dinners in the store, make sure you flip them over, see what else it calls for. Because if you're new to cooking, you may think that this box comes with everything. No, it does not. And that's with most box dinners. You'll need milk or butter or oil, something. And that's just something you'll learn when you start to cook. And it takes time. You just a lot of people, I've heard of this, I've heard more people complain about the SNAP benefits and how they think that poor people should be told what to eat. Well, my philosophy is, and I'm not telling anybody what they have to do or how they have to feel, but really honestly, I've lived amongst poor people my whole life. And luckily for me, my grandmother raised me and she knew how to cook, so I know how to cook. But today I see so many young people that don't know how to cook. They're like my parents' age. They're the ones that started to work the 12-hour shifts, both parents working. So they weren't at home to teach their kids how to cook. So there's a generational gap. So if you're poor and don't have the money, I don't think it's up to the government to tell poor people how they need to cook or how they need to eat, because that's a fine line to tell somebody who has money that you can eat this, but the poor people have to eat that. And if you don't know how to cook, of course you're going to be eating box dinners. And if not, then the government needs to maybe put out a cooking channel instead of boycotting and cutting public broadcast television. Maybe they need to be inclusive and add it to a channel so people who don't know how to cook can learn how to cook. But I digress, and I'll get back to my ingredients. So with my yams, I was at the store today buying some other stuff, and I looked again, and I could not find my baked marshmallows, because that's really what I prefer to put on my yams. I don't know why. Marshmallow is a marshmallow. I know they taste the same, but for me, visually, I like the baked marshmallows. So I heard another lady today. She was talking about the baked marshmallows, and later on in the store, this is one of the stories I'm going to share with you, because she and I commented to each other about the marshmallows. But later on, as I was checking out, I was with my son and this lady. Now, honest, I'm not a prude, but this lady was in her bra. I mean, she was in a bra, and I was with my son, and I hit him on the arm and was saying, "Oh my God, look, she's in her bra." The lady that I was talking to in the marshmallow aisle, she said, "Oh," she was a gorgeous lady too. She said, "Oh, me and you just couldn't go to the store together. Me and you just would get in trouble." And I would agree with her, because me and her both was commenting about how that lady should have. She must have been in an awful big hurry. She forgot to put on her top and didn't realize she was out shopping in a bra on Thanksgiving around children. Once again, I digress. I'll get back to my menu. So I love baked beans. I know a lot of people maybe don't do baked beans on the holiday, but you know what I do? So I start with Allen's, big old Allen's can of beans. This is you guys are gonna giggle. 7 pounds of beans. Maybe I looked at that wrong. Nope. 7 pounds of beans. And you know what? Baked beans is something you can freeze. You don't have to eat 7 pounds of beans. Let's pray that you don't. Or you'd be still tooting by Christmas. But we're going to be using the Allen's. I think that's funny. I never realized it was 7 pounds. But you know what? Good exercise also. 7 pounds of Allen beans. And with those beans, I'm also going to need, or I'm going to use a thing of bacon. Now those Allen beans, I bought those at Sam's, and I think those were $4. And then I bought this Farmland thick cut bacon. I'm going to fry that up here in a little bit. put that in my baked beans. Oh, you know what? I just remembered. I need to get my bread away from that stove. It's getting too warm. I'll show you the bread later, but I have. Now, things going on behind me. I forgot about that anyway. I didn't want to waste a whole lot of time on boiling water, so I do have my water boiling for my deviled eggs and also for my potatoes, for mashed potatoes. Excuse me. So this is more cream of chicken. Oh, I don't. Okay, I didn't need the cream of chicken. I'm gonna do cream of mushroom for the green bean casserole. I'll put that back over here. So I'll be making cinnamon rolls and dinner rolls, and what I'll be using is the Rhodes white dough bread. And that was in the freezer. I took that out a few hours ago. It's finally starting to soften up, and I may get it on this video, but if not, I'll do another video to show everybody. So anyway, back to my ingredients. I'm going to be doing peas, cream peas. And if you like and prefer frozen peas, use the frozen peas. Everything I do to them will the same method will apply. I'm going to be making cream corn. Now, if you don't like cream corn and you don't like cream peas, just don't do the creaming process. Just put butter, salt, pepper, and maybe a little bit of garlic powder, and onion salt, but not too much. But if you don't want the creaming process, just leave that process out. I love cream peas. My son loves cream peas. My partner does not, but he don't have to eat those, does he? If you don't like something on Thanksgiving, there's so much food. That's the nice thing about Thanksgiving is you don't really have to worry about what people are gonna like. There's so much they can pick and choose what they like, and if they're that damn picky, they can just stay at home. I'm really just joking, but they don't have to eat if they're that picky. So I'm also going to be making an orange jello salad. I got my mandarin oranges. I got my Cool Whip. Oh yes, and also for my baked beans, I have a barbecue sauce. Not expensive. This was $1.29 at Walmart. Now I know there's a million different baked barbecue sauces out there, but this is honey barbecue sauce, and it's great for a baked bean. And I use that when I'm barbecuing. If I want it sweeter, I'll add a little sugar. If I want a little spice, I'll add a little sriracha sauce, a little jalapeno peppers. Now, I love spicy food myself, but most of my family does not. And that's, before I get off subject, for my orange jello salad, I use Prairie Farms large curd cottage cheese. So I'm going to put those right there too. I'm going to need cornstarch for my cream peas and my cream corn. A lot of people don't like cranberry sauce, but I actually do enjoy it, I guess, but it's more just for the color. It's a pop of color in the middle of all that white and gray and turkey and, green bean casserole. I love it. It's bright red. I like the color red, and I like cranberry sauce. It's okay. I eat it once a year on the holidays. Also, for my orange jello salad, I'm going to be using this orange jello from Jello. Now, if you can't afford it, and all you can afford is, now, like I was saying, if all you can afford is generic or off-brand, then so be by it. One thing I've noticed, though, in recent years, in the last year, is that the generic cost has gone up. Name brand has kind of stayed right where it was, and there's not a lot of difference in the cost, but I find there to be an extraordinary difference in the taste. So if you can't afford it, go with name brand. If you can't, you don't have to. One thing about cooking is personal choice, but flavor matters, and in my opinion, name brand stuff just tastes a little bit better. I do not like generic sugar. And I'm not hoity-toity. I'm not stuck up. I just don't like it. And those are things I pick and choose, to spend my money on. Some people might buy soda, Pepsi Cola or, Coke or whatever the case might be, cigarettes. I choose to eat just a little bit better than buying generic brand. Onions also, I'll be using onions for my baked beans. And so when it comes to the hey Philip.
Yeah.
Will you come here and just kind of turn this camera a little bit for me? And I'm going to be using potatoes for my mashed potatoes. Hold on 1 second before you move it. And I'm going to be using, for my cinnamon rolls that I'm going to make, I'll be using powdered sugar, brown sugar. This is all, the reason I'm doing this is just so to show you that I actually went through all the ingredients to make sure I had the ingredients I needed before I started cooking, because here in a little bit, there won't be any stores open. It'll be Thanksgiving. And here I have cinnamon, and I didn't buy cinnamon this time. I saved money. I had leftover cinnamon from, prior cookings. So, but I do have a lot of cinnamon because you can tell I like McCormick because I found 2 open McCormick cinnamons. I found a ground cinnamon generic. See, I do buy generic some things, but I'll mix it in with that real McCormick cinnamon, so it won't make that big of a difference. Paprika for my deviled eggs. Salt, pepper, onion powder. I'll be using more cinnamon. I found this little guy, cinnamon, and vanilla, pure vanilla extract for my cinnamon rolls also. So I'm just going to step over to the side. I'm going to pan over here and show everybody the food. Okay, now I'm going to turn and I'm going to step on the other side of the camera, and my partner is going to get me over here by the stove so I can start showing you the cooking process and a little less talking about ingredients and a little bit more showing you. Okay. That looks great, Philip, right there. And Philip is my partner of 25 years, everybody. It's a great accomplishment, and that's another thing I'm thankful for. In 2019, my partner had a massive heart attack, and he almost passed. I've been thankful ever since then for his life. And in 2020, I lost one of my best friends of 26 years. And I'm very thankful that, I think about, and I think most people do on the holidays, think about the ones they've loved and the people they've lost, because holidays does that to you. And this year, in the last 4 years, this year including, this will be the 5th year that my best friend's been gone. And I think about tonight would have been the night that we would have pulled out all the Christmas stuff, and after I was done cooking and things were cooking and things were getting done overnight cooking, me and him would have pulled out the tree, and all me, my partner, and my son, we all would have, and his partner would have pulled out the Christmas tree and got the tree decorated. Now, I'm getting a little off subject, but I said I wanted to share stories, and honestly, I had 5 heart attacks myself. I had 3 heart attacks in 2021. I had 2 in 2023. I had 1, and there was 2 times I had 2 blockages from 99%. I had 5 heart attacks. And I also had a hernia surgery, and my appendix went wrong, and they burst. So there was a gap there in 5 years that I went through a lot. And I kind of I got depressed. I don't know how to explain it, but my partner has congestive heart failure, and my heart didn't take the abuse, so I don't have congestive heart failure, but I have heart issues. And I think I stopped living a little bit because I was scared. I didn't want to, I don't know. I didn't want to show off or be, haha, I'm healthier than you, or whatever the case might be. But this year I come to my mind, and hopefully because of him too, because he was like, Willie, you gotta live, you gotta live, you gotta live. So, and there's more to living than just him. as much as I love him, I also have a son, I have a son-in-law, and I have friends. And he wants me to live for all those. You know, if he passes, he don't want me to just give up and die. So I digress, and I'll get on to a happier subject. But I was talking about my friend who passed away, and 4 years ago, I definitely, the first couple of years, I couldn't even mention his name without passing. This year, I'm thinking about him with a, heavy heart, but a happy heart. It's nice to be able to remember him and think about him in a good way. This was always a great time of the year for us. So what I'm going to do is I got my water boiling. Like I said, I didn't want to spend a lot of time boiling water. So I have my pan over here with hot water. I'm going to take my glove, pick this. Now they say this lid you can pick up without, and you can. It's not hot, but I don't ever get used to doing that because sometimes you might be using someone else's pot. You maybe not be using this particular lid in your own house. Just for your protection, don't ever get used to picking lids up without your hand protected because you will get burned. Trust and believe me. So I have this nice copper pot. That's why I named my channel Willie's Copper Kitchen, because I have a lot of copper stuff because I enjoy it. So I have this pan here that I'll pick up and I'll put up here. I get my eggs. What do I do with my eggs? No, they're there. So if anybody's out there watching and they're not from Missouri, or even if you are from Missouri and I don't know you or you're new to this channel, leave a comment and let me know where you're from. So I'm going to go ahead and get a spoon. Now this is another little tip I'm going to give you all. If you're maybe you don't know and you've been cooking for years and just been doing it a different way. I don't like for my egg to crack, and I don't like to get burned. I don't like water splashed back on me when I'm doing this. So I always, when I'm not using this particular pan or I'm somewhere else and they don't have this pan, I always take my egg, I put it in a ladle, and then I dip my egg in there, and that way it doesn't crack and the water doesn't splash back and hit me either. And I always find a dozen eggs to be okay if you're doing a function. This is any recipe that I give you. If you're, need double the recipe, then double the recipe. But nobody wants to get splashed with hot water, I don't think. So this is a great way to keep your eggs from getting cracked. Because if you're a cook and I've done it so many times, and I ain't afraid to admit it, when you drop the egg and it hits the bottom of the pan and it just slightly cracks that egg, and then when it's done boiling, you have that white stuff. You have the white coming out of the shell, and then your egg just doesn't look pretty. And you might be taking these to the church social. You don't want an ugly egg. I don't want an ugly egg, even if it's just for me. So you see that pan is just big enough for 12 eggs. So I'll take this, put it back in there. And I'll dunk it back down in there. And while I was talking, my eggs good. And the water kind of went down, so I'm going to turn my water back up. And I'm going to add some water. Sorry if you can hear this water. It's very squeaky. And I changed my mind because I have water over here boiling for something else, and I don't want my temperature to drop for my boiled eggs. So I'm going to go ahead and just dump this in my boiled water for my eggs. because there is a rule about eggs, and my rule for eggs is, and this water is kind of boiling, is Alexa, set a timer for 10 minutes.
10 minutes, starting now.
Is that a boiled egg, a perfect boiled egg that I like is 10 minutes, raging boil, 10 minutes, setting in the water. And then we'll see how it turns out. And you can be the judge whether or not that's the right time for these boiled eggs. So I'm gonna go ahead and fill this pan back up full of water. This was gonna be for my potatoes. Okay, so I put that back on, and that's gonna be for my potatoes. So that'll probably take about 20 more minutes to boil. So right now what I'm gonna do is still just have the trash can right there out of my way, but it's right, that ain't where I normally keep it, but it's very handy right there at my feet. So let's see. My oven went off, that's right, my oven went off for preheat, so I'm gonna go ahead and put. What I do is follow the instructions on the back of the box. I did 350, so I'm gonna turn it up to 400. Okay, so I turn it up to 400. So I'm gonna go ahead and get me a baking sheet out in this particular pie called cook for 40 minutes. And you definitely, newcomers, if you're cooking, always cook you a baking sheet underneath the pie. Homemade pie or otherwise, because there's nothing any harder to clean up than and it just creates a bunch of smoke. Every time you cook for the next few times, you have to deal with it. It's just not fun to deal with a ran over pie or anything that ran over your oven, but sticky, sweet, sugar, not fun at all. Okay, so that one right. So I'm gonna get my baking sheet. So I got me one baking sheet here, one pie. So I'm gonna go ahead and look and see what these other pies call for. Maybe they are under the same. So this peach pie says it needs to cook approximately 60 to 65 minutes, and it wants 25 degrees warmer than the 400. So what I'll do is I'll go ahead and put this in with the cherry pie, but I'm gonna go ahead and leave the temperature the same, and I'll just leave the peach pie in the oven for about 10, what did it call for, 40, 50, 60, for about 10 more minutes. Hey son.
Oh,
My son just came in, because like I was telling everybody, make sure you have all the ingredients you need, and guess what, I sent him home with my milk today, and I ended up having to call him back and get it back. And I also need send him to the store to get me a Cool Whip, because I have to use the Cool Whip I have for the orange yellow salad, and I need Cool Whip for the top of the pie tomorrow. So he's such a nice young man. Can you believe I have a son 34 years old? I hate to toot my own horn, but I don't personally feel it. But you see, I'm wearing my shirt that says the greatest dad, born 1974. So I am 52 years old, or will be in June. And I hope I don't look it. I definitely don't feel it no more. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and set this pie in the oven, and I set an alarm for the egg. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this in for, I'm gonna do an hour. Because there's 2 pies on here, and when there's a little bit more than 1 pie, I just, that one calls for 425, one calls for 400. It's at 400. My oven does cook a little bit warm, and I know that, so I think my cherry pie will be fine at 400, cooking a little bit over. So, and what we'll do is take this brown sugar that's here. I like to smack it around a little bit, try to loosen it up. But when that apple pie is done, or not apple pie, the cherry pie, you know what? I'm gonna check an apple pie, see what it calls for. You know what? The cherry pie and the apple pie. The cherry pie, the apple pie call for the same time, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull that peach pie out. And those come with the same kind of topping with the crumble top. I'll put that on top of the stove so I can thaw out because the oven is on now. I wouldn't put it on the side that the heat comes up. I'll put it right in the middle where it's warm but not too warm. So the apple pie needed to be cooked at 425. No, I'm wrong. At 400 degrees, but for an hour. So I'm gonna go ahead and cook the cherry. Oh my goodness, the cherry. I'm getting a little tongue tied in now. I'm gonna go ahead and cook the cherry and the apple together. And then I'll cook the peach afterwards because the peach needs to be cooked at a little bit higher degree and a little bit longer. I'm gonna go ahead and take that. There. Go ahead and take the peach pie out. So now I've changed my mind again. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and turn that around. And I'm going to go ahead and cook all 3 of the pies. I'll go ahead and cook all 3 of the pies. Bye, Annie. I love you. See you tomorrow.
See you in the morning. Happy hunting.
Love you.
Thank you.
So what I'll do is put all 3 of those pies in the oven. I'll go ahead and turn the oven up to 325, which 325, 420. So now I have all 4 pies in the oven. And one thing that you do want to do, cooks, is you want to keep your your stationery clean. Just makes it so much easier. Because honestly, if you know how to get to everything, it's just that much easier to cook. You don't want your supplies all scattered around, that kind of stuff. So we got all the, look at that, we've only been into this for 37 minutes, and we already have 3 pies in the oven. Oh, I told him I'll see him. He's coming back, isn't he?
No. Why, you want him back?
Is he getting the Cool Whip?
Cool Whip's right there.
Oh, he brought some with him.
There's Cool Whip he brought, and milk.
Oh, okay.
He brought you 2 more Cool Whips.
Oh, okay. My son brought me Cool Whip, but I don't have to go out and get it. Yay. So what I was saying is you want to keep your area clean, or I do. I find it that much easier to clean it. So now what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, is I'm going to get me a bowl. And we're going to work on the orange jello salad. I'm going to take the 2 And you want to make sure your Cool Whip is stalled. There it is. So he just bought it. Okay, so you want to make sure your Cool Whip is stalled. Go ahead and open it. Alexa, stop. Okay, so that was my egg timer. I'm gonna look at my eggs. No, it's about right there. You know what? Alexa, set a timer for 2 minutes.
2 minutes, starting now.
Because I had to add the water and that good stuff, I'm just gonna add 2 more minutes. I don't believe you can't. I mean, you can overcook a deviled egg, but I don't believe 2 more minutes would, be detrimental. But nobody wants an undercooked egg. When it comes to deviled egg, an overcooked egg is definitely better than an undercooked egg because you can't use it. So we're gonna have our cottage cheese. And everybody, I really hope everybody has a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know this is just, I don't really want to be political, but Republican or Democrat, because honestly, I've been both. I voted both sides of the ticket. I voted Democrat, I voted Republican. But I never thought in my day I'd ever see what we're seeing right now. What's that like? I don't know. Probably. There. Anyway, I never thought I'd see the day that things would be going so bad. I tried and I haven't spoke about it a lot. I don't even really speak about it to my friends and associates because I don't want to get so upset about something I can't do anything about. But I think I need to just stay focused on my dish right now. I don't want to get off subject and be in that tone. So what else do I need? I got my Cool Whip, got my cottage cheese. I have my orange Jello, and I'm also going to need a strainer because you want to strain Alexa, stop. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and take my eggs out of that boiling water because if I leave it in there, it will overcook my eggs. And you know what? Since my water is already boiling over here, I'm going to go ahead and use that for my potatoes. What I'll do is, because the water is hot, I'm going to do these the same way I did my eggs, so I do not want to get burned. And just feel free to say whatever it is. My husband was asking me a question, he wrote it on a piece of paper. Now, truth, I am not the kind of person that just strikes up a conversation with a stranger out in public. My husband knows no stranger and will strike up a conversation with anybody in public. But yet he is adamant that he does not want to be on this channel or any channel and does not want to be seen or talk to anybody in my YouTube channel. So yes, we're very much yin and yang because he would never stand here and be doing what I'm doing. Because you know what, quite frankly, I don't believe it's that easy to do this. I'm enjoying it, but I think if you get caught up on worrying about every syllable, every structure of a sentence, and everybody, worrying about whether or not you're perfect, I'm well aware I'm perfect, damn it. No, but on a serious note, I'm not that worried about it. I'm trying to help people. I'm just trying to include you in my life. I want you to include me in yours. And honestly, this video is for the people who don't have a lot of people in their life. I don't have anybody in my life. 2020, well, I shouldn't say I don't have anybody in my life because that really is degrading to the people I do have in my life. What I should say is I don't have a lot of friends in my life. Most of my friends that I do have are 30-year friendships, 35-year-old friendships, but they don't live in the same town I live in. And you know how that can be. We don't always have to communicate. We don't communicate sometimes for a year until Thanksgiving, until Christmas, so maybe 2 or 3 Christmases. But we know they're there for each other. Our lives are just, I hate to say this, but honest to God, people really don't want to know your problems. They can't solve them for you, and they don't really want to hear about them because they got their own problems. And once you're an adult and you're of the big age of 50 and over, you kind of start to realize that. And, that is why as you get older, you have less and less friends. I mean, they don't say that, but the truth is, as you get older, you start to have more and more problems, more health issues, and, people don't really have time for you. And that's okay. They have their own life. So anyway, I got my potatoes over here cooking, and I got my eggs cooling. I'm gonna put my lid on my potatoes. And when those do come to a raging boil, I will put a timer on them too. So now I'm gonna get back to my Cool Whip, not my Cool Whip, to my cottage cheese Jello salad. And I like to use large curd, and if you're only able to get small curd, that's okay too. But no matter what curd size you get, make sure you drain your make sure you drain your cottage cheese. And you may not think there's a lot of juice in these Jello or in the cottage cheeses, but if you don't drain them and you put it in there, you will have a very watery, because you just think we're putting in the Jello, putting in the Cool Whip, the mandarin oranges, they're a little bit juicy. Speaking of which, I need to get them over here. So, and I don't know about you all, but me personally, I do not like cottage cheese. This is the only way, and I mean the only way I eat it is doctored, so you can't tell that it's a cottage cheese. But anyway, with my mandarin oranges, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open them out. My strainer just fell down in the sink. So anyway, I'm going to open up my mandarin oranges. And I really enjoy the juice off the mandarin oranges. Strain them like this. You must strain your oranges. Don't you dare put the juice in with your Jello salad, or you'll have Jello soup. So we strained them. And don't worry about using your finger to strain your juices. I'm using my hand to cook the whole meal. You're scared of my germs. It's only my family and my son eating anyway. And I know this seems like a lot of food for 3 or 4 people, but I used to have more and more people, but we can eat on this for a week or longer. We can freeze, the baked beans can be frozen, the green beans can be frozen if you wanted to, the turkey will not last, but if it needed to, you could even freeze the turkey and eat it later. So we got this juice that we just drained. That's so good and sweet. all that sugar I'm not supposed to have. But it's the holidays, and I'm thankful I can have it on the holidays. Just another thing to be thankful for. But on a serious note, everybody, I do want to talk a little bit about my weight loss this year. When I started this year, I started out at 235 pounds. And I don't know if you know what the body mass index scale is, but I was just right at 1 point away from being obese. I had gotten up to a 38 gene. And actually, I had gotten so big that none of my clothes fit me, so I was just wearing jogging pants and shorts. And everybody can say they don't notice when they're getting bigger, but I noticed I was getting bigger. I couldn't. You know, the one thing I noticed was when I got into the bathtub, standing up in the bathtub got harder. My shirts all got super, it looked like I was pregnant. And luckily for me, my partner isn't, you know, he's not cold-hearted or mean about it, but he was telling me, and my son also was telling me about how out of shape I was getting. And they both know that I cared about my size. You know, I've always been pretty much in shape, but I got in that depressed state from having the heart attacks and my partner having a heart attack and my best friend dying, and you know, a few things go wrong in your life, and before you know it, you're 60 pounds overweight. And how I lost the weight was, well, I woke up to life again. I woke up and decided I wanted to live, and I wanted to live better. I wanted to live healthier, and I wanted to live longer. And when I first started in March on my diet and my lifestyle change, I just started walking every day, and I gave up sugar. Was the main thing I gave up when it came to dieting, and fast food. I'm not gonna lie, I was eating fast food. Now, when I had my heart attack, I quit all that, and you know, you slowly get better, and you slowly start falling into bad habits again, and I did. But I also had, thank goodness I was smart enough to recognize that I needed to also stop that. So I gave up fast food. I gave up sugar. When I say I gave it up, I didn't give it up 100%. I just gave it up where it wasn't affecting me, making me bigger and bigger and making me eat all those carbs. And honestly, now that I'm away from it, I'm not even for sure what the hell I was eating. It don't even taste good. You just, in depression, you can get lazier, and not even lazier. It just gets harder to achieve your goals. You don't want to achieve your goals. You just, I don't know how to describe depression because this is not the video for it. But I was definitely not the type of person to even get depressed, so I'm surprised that it happened to me, but it did. So I'm going to get me a spoon so I can stir this as my Jello salad is cooking. And I hope I hope you can hear me because I'm not using a microphone or anything. Just my phone is adaptable with my microphone. And honestly, one of the reasons why I quit making videos because it got to be such cooking is joy for me. But when I was cooking, it was either a microphone problem or the telephone wasn't charged or the light wasn't working. And it just sucked the fun right out of it. So tonight I'm not using a microphone. I'm not using a special light. I'm just using myself. Ta-da! So anyway, I got my cottage cheese here. And I need to quit talking so much because I don't want it to get warm. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my mandarin oranges. And I use two cans. When it comes to the mandarin oranges, this is all they had, so I didn't have a choice. But I normally get the Del Monte small cans, but tonight they had only the Great Value. So I got 2 cans of them. And let's see. God, those are good. I love fruit. That's another thing me and my partner couldn't be any opposite in. He likes pears. That's what he likes, pears. They're not a fruit I met that I didn't like. You call me a cannibal, I guess. If you got that, you know what I mean. If you didn't, the joke's on me. So I got my mandarin oranges, my mandarin oranges, my cottage cheese, I do want to add one thing of Cool Whip. I will add two, but for right now, I'm just going to add the one. I'm going to go ahead and add half the orange Jello. So I can't see if anybody's made any comments, but I'm going to go ahead and take my Jello salad and I'm going to come over here and see if anyone's made any comments. Did you like cottage cheese or not? I guess nobody's made any. Oh, it looks like I got 7 likes and it looks like 2 people are watching me. That's okay. Because you know what? If only 2 people are watching me now, maybe some people will come across me later and watch me. But right now we're mixing up this Cool Whip and this Jello salad. And you do want to mix it till you see that Cool Whip. No, I don't think I'm going to put it in. I don't know. Maybe I will. Maybe mix a little bit. I'm definitely going to get me another orange Jello salad. I meant orange Jello. Now, you guys may have not noticed, and I did mention it, but I put my potatoes in their hole, in the boiling water hole, and then I'll show you how I do them. The reason why I do that is because I've always had problems with my hands of dexterity, and the older I've gotten, the worse it's gotten. So anytime that I don't have to, peel a potato, I don't know why it's always hurt my hand, but it has. So I just put them in whole. You don't have to throw them. Once they're done, they'll just come right off. So I'm going to take me another Jello here. When it comes to orange Jello salad, I like it to be orange. I don't want no little faded Jello salad.
You said
So if you can hear that, that's alarms going off because, well, when you have congestive heart failure and you have heart issues, you're always taking medication at some point. You wake up taking a medication, get ready for bed taking a medication, it just becomes part of life. So I'm going to add more of this Jello. Has anyone made any comments? No comments.
we have 4 comments.
I guess we have 4 comments. Were they all from Cantrell?
No, there was other people. It's the night before Thanksgiving. There's probably not a lot of people on the internet right now.
Well, I'm glad that there's not a lot of people on the internet, but if there is somebody out there watching that doesn't have anybody, I'm glad you came across me.
We did do a poll. We asked people if they like cottage cheese. One person said yes, so it's 100% for cottage cheese.
I added the other Cool Whips. I had 2 Cool Whips, 2 cottage cheeses. Now, I know there's a debate, and I've talked about it before when I've made orange Jello salad, is I do not like marshmallows in my orange Jello salad. I hate cold marshmallows. I love marshmallows, and I love hot marshmallows, but I think there's nothing sadder than a cold mushy marshmallow. Ugh. So as we put this back into the refrigerator, you see this is a little bit runny, but that's okay because it will solidify in the refrigerator as it gets colder. I'm just making sure that all the Cool Whip is nice and mixed up. I'm gonna go ahead and add that. So you see what I used? There was 2 large boxes of orange yellow salad, 2 large things of cottage cheese, and 2 cans of mandarin oranges, and 2 things of Cool Whip. So 2 and 2 and 2 and 2. Yay for 2. I want to share a little Thanksgiving story with everybody right now while I'm stirring this orange yellow salad. I want to share a little bit about my past and Thanksgivings that weren't so happy for me. And that's part of the reason why I wanted to do this video, is because not only to help people cook, because it's easy to look up a recipe, but not everybody's going to have my story. And, you know, my story is that right after Thanksgiving of '89, things were going horribly awry for me. We were in a different time cycle, and I just came out to my mother maybe a couple months before Thanksgiving, and like I said, times were so much different back then, and honestly, things really haven't changed. I know things have changed for people who live in a big city. I live in, Columbia, Missouri. Things have changed here for the better, but I'm surrounded by the rural part of Missouri, and that's why we're a red state, is because all the rural parts, we have a big city and we're surrounded by a lot of small towns. And then Kansas City is a big city surrounded by a lot of small towns. St. Louis, big, surrounded by a lot of small towns. So if you're living in one of those small towns of 100 to 300 people and you're a gay person, whether you're a lesbian lady or a gay child, or you're thinking you're trans or binary, non-binary, there's new terminology that wasn't even around when I was a kid. So it hasn't changed for them. They still live in a small town where 99% of the people around them are straight, probably white, and they don't want to have any conversation. And this, in my opinion, this is a little bit of the reason why Donald Trump, became president, is because I always ask people, everybody who say they voted for Donald Trump, is, well, what part of the hate did you buy into? Because if you're a Republican, well, I don't know what value it is that you hold that Donald Trump stands for, because that's not even the Republican Party. That's some other, MAGA bullshit, whatever the hell you want to call it, but that's what that is, and that's not Republican nor Democrat. And if you say you have Christian values, well, I don't know anybody. That's not a Christian value. Nothing Donald Trump stands for is a Christian value, and I know a lot of people. And now that abortion is state to state, I'm not for sure why you couldn't be a Democrat now, because I know whenever that wasn't state to state, the Republican would say, well, I'm against abortion. Well, now it's state to state. So you don't have to be against abortion to be a Democrat. But I don't want to get on a political tyrant. But I am just so depressed right now with the way things are. I'm not one of those people that I've never been to a concert. I've never been to, anywhere where there's a large, massive crowd of people. I'm just not that type of person, and I get anxieties. But you know what I did do? I went out and did the No Kings March by myself. I'll add that video, and I'll, at the end of this, I'm going to upload that video. I never have yet, but I took it. I went and I videotaped it. And I know it was called the No Kings March, but I feel like it was more a protection of the Constitution march. When people start to say, well, what? I heard someone say this the other day. Someone asked me, and I can't believe that we have legislators. Well, I know what it is. They're scared to say anything, but I don't have anything to be scared of. What are you going to do? Take my whole home away from me? But when they say, well, when these legislators and Congress and Senate people said, not to do anything illegally, and not to follow illegal orders. And then Donald Trump said that was punishable by death. Well, are you the same Republicans that believe that conception starts at life and hell or high water, no matter if the mother's going to die, that, we must have that child come to life, but yet you're willing to chop the head or hang somebody, shoot them, whatever the case might be, send them off to El Salvador and let the animals have them? Now, I'm not calling El Salvadorians animals. I'm just saying, what do? We send off people that's in our country to, third world countries, and we don't even care about that. Are those the same Christians that, that are talking about I couldn't be a Democrat because of Christian values? Those Republicans? You might want to redefine what you might want to just not facilitate yourself and say you're a Republican as long as Donald Trump is in office, because no Christian values there. See, I can get off on a tyrant. I know a lot of people, and it's not because I'm moderate and I'm some left crazy lunatic, because I'm not. I'm a gay man, and I'm a pretty moderate thinker. I've been with the same person for 25 years, and I didn't jump on the bandwagon of getting married. Not that I don't believe that gay, men and women should get married. I just always said this: I didn't want to be put on that list. People used to look at me like I was crazy, and I also didn't want to have something. I didn't want the government to take away something like love and say, "Oh, you can't." Well, you know what? I never got married, so when Donald Trump was thinking about, and it's just Supreme Court's in the palm of his hand thinking about changing gay marriage, there's that list I was talking about, because every gay person that would have got married, don't think if the Supreme Court wouldn't have overturned it, we would have probably been, our citizenship would have been turned over. Maybe we would have been going back to the psych wards or whatever the case might have been. Don't for 1 second laugh or think it couldn't happen. Tell that to the 200,000 people that Biden gave asylum to in our country, and now they're investigating them, wanting to send them back. Tell that to the senators. Tell it to Elena Stockton, who's a Michigan senator that doesn't have legs because she lost them in fighting for our country, that Donald Trump says deserves to die because she says, don't follow illegal orders. So remember, when you're fighting for that life at conception, don't forget that life still is there at 40, 50, regardless whether you're a general or a 5-year-old immigrant. We don't kill people. We never was going. We should be killing people or wanting to kill people or putting those death threats out there for other people. So I need to shut up about that and get to my orange yellow salad. I'm going to stir it a couple more times, make sure it's good enough stirred. And I'm going to go ahead and put it in another bowl. They want it to be pretty. I even have a story about these paper towels on. I was up in St. Louis about 3 weeks ago. I was supposed to go somewhere. And I asked them if I needed to pick up anything. They said paper towels. So I went into a gas station in St. Louis. I picked up 3. There were 2 paper rolls in each package. I picked up 3. So 6 paper towel rolls. I went up to pay for it, and he said $29. I couldn't believe. First of all, I couldn't believe that I had so much pride that I was going to pay $29 for these paper towels. Secondly, I couldn't believe that they cost $29. I just couldn't believe it. But anyway, those paper towels right here, the golden paper towel. And they weren't name brand. They weren't anything special. You can imagine they were in a gas station for selling. Anyway, everybody, this is my orange yellow salad. And I'm going to put that in the refrigerator until tomorrow. did have a little more than that bowl out. So what I'll do is put this in this bowl because I know, sure enough, I know my son, this is one of his favorite dishes. He will come over and he will want some. And I won't want him in my other dish that's for everybody. So I'll give him some of this. But for now, I'm going to taste it. Goodness, that is really good. One of my favorite dishes. Definitely one of my son's favorite dishes. I'm gonna put this in the refrigerator also. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna get a fork or a knife and I'm gonna test my potatoes. And I'm gonna see how done they are. Okay, so I tested my potatoes and they are good. They're done. That mandarin orange juice is just delicious. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and clean up my little area here. Okay, so the next thing I think I'm going to do is I'm going to do some dinner rolls. Now, what I'll do is I'll spray when you're spraying your olive oil nonstick stuff or pan or whatever product you're using, I always try to go over the stove because if this gets on your floor, you can really slip and fall pretty easily. Okay, so I'm using my glass baking dish. I believe that's a 9 by, looks like a 9 by 20 or somewhere around there. So as I've been talking to you or to myself until someone watches this, what I'm going to be using is Rhodes white bread. Now you can buy a dinner roll out of a container. You can even buy these they come, pre-done. But I find if you take these have been thawing out now for a few hours, but I like to take them. You just kind of take them such as this, maybe fit it in the palm of my hand. I have a pretty good sized hand, but that's okay. And I'm just going to roll them up like this. I'm going to flop it right in there. I'll probably put 3 palm of my hand, roll them up, do them like this, such. And so it's just so when they do and are done cooking, they just look a little bit more homemade. And honestly, and no one asks you, you don't have to tell anybody this is not homemade. And if you made them in your home, they are homemade. You can always get around that. So maybe I'm going to make them maybe a little bit smaller than the palm of my hand because that one was just a little bit bigger than that one. I don't want a gigantic dinner roll, just a dinner roll. I'm gonna take that first interroll and I'm gonna pinch off a little bit and redo that. And I don't know where you're watching this from, but the weather we're having right now, fall's finally starting to feel a little bit more like winter. It reminds me of my childhood Thanksgiving. A little bit colder than it was a week ago. Last week it felt like spring. Not that I'm looking forward to the cold weather, because I'm not. I don't really enjoy it. I didn't really enjoy it when I was a kid. And I certainly don't enjoy it now that I have to pay the heating bill. Which is just another thing. I don't know if anybody's noticed, but I seen on the news the other night. Well, first, my partner told me our electric bill went up $100 in 30 days. And he did say that he thought it was because our area had went up on their wattage costs and stuff. And then I seen on the news later that night, sure enough, they said there was record-breaking people getting their electric shut off because they can't afford to pay their electric bill. Now I know in my community they have a program that once it reaches a certain temperature they don't shut you off. But guess what? It hasn't reached that yet, so I don't know if the rules will apply. But once you're shut off, they don't have to turn you back on because it gets so cold. If I'm correct on that, I don't believe they shut you back on just because it's cold. Which is just another sad, situation in our country. My dad's sister was one of the main reasons why that law started being passed, was because she got sick and she fell and she was in her home and they came and shut off her heat and she froze to death. She wasn't able to answer the door. So I know everybody's situation is different, but I think one thing for sure is after COVID and after Donald Trump presidency, I don't think people are going to be taking anything quite for granted as they used to. I know I sure don't, especially after COVID. I lost some great friends and associates during that time, more so than I would like to, realize. Okay, so what I have here is I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I have 12 dinner rolls right here. And what I'm going to do, whoops, they slid around on me, is I'm going to get them back in their position. And I'm going to go ahead and let them all ride. Sorry, that cottage cheese is trying to come back up and visit me. So I'm going to set that right here, and then I'm going to put my dinner rolls back over here. Now, I'm not putting them on the hot side of where I'm not putting them on the hot side where the oven is, but I'm going to put them on the opposite side. So right now, I'm going to go back to my eggs. And I'm going to go over here to the hot water. I'm going to turn my hot water on so I can peel my eggs. I've always found that these eggs are still hot. So hot water, hot eggs, the eggshell should just peel right off. Hopefully it don't make me out a liar.
if anybody that's happened to listen to the squeaky noise, my thing needs to be replaced. But nothing happens anytime soon, so that's what we're gonna have to deal with, is squeaky. But it does appear as though my hot egg with hot water takes the shell right off. It does, because I'm about done. And believe me, I've done the old pick technique. It took me a while to figure out how the perfect technique was to get a boiled egg, and it was before the day of the internet. You had to figure it out yourself. You just didn't go up online and discover somebody else's hard work for you.
Okay, so that probably took me about, I don't know, 2 or 3 minutes to shell 12 eggs. So not bad. So what I'll do is I will take my cutting board here. I'm going to take a paper towel. Not my cutting board. My $29 paper towels. And I'm going to get a knife and go ahead and cut these eggs. Make sure you have the shells all off. So I cut them down the middle. Sharp. Now, can you see that color? That's yellow. It's not green. If you start to pick up a green tint, that means you've overcooked your eggy. And I'm sorry if I'm talking to you like you're 5. If you overcooked your egg, see how nice and yellow that is? No, let me see if I can show you. It's nice and yellow. It's not green at all. So yay, we've at least accomplished that. And these eggs are not very wet, but that is why I put the paper towel down, is because sometimes when you cut your egg, make sure you do scrape it so you can get a nice clean cut on your egg. And when these are done, and they're perfectly done, they should essentially just pop right out of there. So you don't have to fight with it. Because if you've overcooked your egg, it will tend to stick to the white part of the egg a little bit. And you do not want that. But you know what? If it does happen, it isn't the end of the world. No one's going to know that it was a little bit green. After you add your ingredients, it'll be fine. Now, I will tell you this. I do not like to add my egg filling into my egg until tomorrow. I love to have the inside mixture done. Let those ingredients marinate. You know, get to know each other, or what do they call it, marry. Get them married overnight. Get them familiar with one another. And then tomorrow you will have the best deviled eggs. And your eggs won't be all soggy, because if you put the yellow part in tonight, or the filling in tonight, it just, every time I've ever done it, my eggs end up soggy. And I don't like a soggy, icky, mushy deviled egg coated. I like the outside to be nice and firm. And just remember every once in a while to cut or to scrape your knife so you're not sticking to your egg and getting the filling on the outside of your egg. If this was just a picnic deviled egg or something, you might be able to get by with this, but these are your holiday eggs. I say holiday eggs, but Thanksgiving is one of my favorite holidays. It really is. because I think it's one of those times that we don't really get to sit around most of the time and think about what we're thankful for or who we're thankful for. You know, when I think about being thankful, I think more under those lines. Who I'm thankful for that's in my life. Now you see there was a little bit of an eggshell on there, and I have been examining these eggs, but I went ahead and look, I almost put it right in my deviled egg. You don't want to take the eggshell and put it back in your deviled egg, so I'm gonna cut this here, but inspect your eggs to make sure no shell is stuck to your deviled eggs, because you don't want to bite into it or have a guest or somebody bite into your egg. Go, these are crunchy eggs. I think a deviled egg is just, it's one of those things that people do not fix that often, or they wait for a church gathering or a holiday or whatever, a special occasion. And I'm not for sure why, because they're just so darn good. I really, really love a deviled egg, and most people I know do. Even people who really honestly don't care for eggs normally like deviled eggs. Everything going good?
Oh, yeah, I can watch it from here. So.
Anybody watching?
Me and Junior. Or being one other person, I assume.
To whoever's watching, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. And maybe you'll learn something. Or maybe I'll learn something. You never know. I'm always up for learning something new. Lord knows I need to. So what I'll do is these eggs, I'm going to go ahead and set them in the refrigerator so they don't get warm.
We posted the Missouri cold weather rule for informational purposes.
Mm-hmm.
We posted the Missouri cold weather rule for informational purposes.
Oh, on the line? Oh, good.
We were talking about it, so we posted it.
Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and make the filling for the deviled eggs. Give you my secrets. Okay, so for my deviled eggs, what I use is Miracle Whip and Hellman's Roll mayonnaise, sweet relish, salt, pepper, onion powder, paprika, and a little bit of granulated sugar. So now what we'll do, I'm gonna go ahead and get a beater. You can use a beater, a fork, whatever you have to mix, a knife, it doesn't matter. You just wanna beat your yellow of your eggs up until, I like to do it until they're crumbly. Because once you start putting all your ingredients in, it will turn into more of a whip. But you don't want to start with a whole yellow egg. It doesn't work for me. These are the steps that I believe makes food taste good, the little extra steps. You're not rushing, you're not in a hurry. You're wanting to satisfy your family, your loved ones. One of the things I enjoy most is cooking for my family, my partner, my son, my friends. Okay, so once I have that to crumbs, what I'll do is I'm gonna go ahead and add some of my onion powder. I'm gonna say a teaspoon, a little less than a teaspoon. You know what? A little less than a teaspoon. I don't really ever measure it, so I'm not for sure how much you use, but then a little bit of pepper. My husband always thinks it's so funny because he's like put a lot of ingredients in here. Put a little bit of salt. Now with salt, I'm not just gonna pour that in there because I don't want to run it salt. You can ruin the food really quickly if you add too much. So, couple little, you know, splashes of salt, and then I'm gonna use this is a fourth of a cup. I don't really have a teaspoon. Let's see. 4 tablespoons is a fourth of a cup, so I'm gonna do a half because it's about 2 tablespoons I need. You know, I use about 3 tablespoons, a little bit more than half of that. Sweet relish ain't gonna hurt it. So, did I already put the onion butter? Yeah, I do believe I did. I better put that to the side. I don't want to get it too heaty. I did use the salt. I'm gonna put that to the side. I used the pepper. I'm gonna put that to the side. And honestly, as you get older, and if your memory's not the best and you've enjoyed a little bit of 420 in your life, it's best to put your ingredients to the side as you use them because you can forget what you used and what you haven't used. Ooh, I'm starting to sweat, everybody. Okay, so what I will start with is I'm going to start with, and I do half and half. If I'm going to, I'll show you. 1, 2. I use 2 of that to 2 of that. So I'm equaling them out, and I'm going to put a little bit of granulated sugar in there because you really want to make sure that granulated sugar gets stirred really well. You don't want granulate. You don't want it, you know, the granulates to be in your mouth when you're eating. And the reason why I just add a little bit of time is because you can always add more, but once it's too, you know, once it's if you add too much you add too much mayonnaise or too much sweet relish or too much of anything, you just want to add a little bit at a time. I'm gonna go ahead and get a fork because I want to get that really mixed well. So you really want to mix this nice and good. Now some people will put onions in there. I do not put onions because you're on holidays you're cooking for your crowd. And that's another thing I wanted to mention is on holidays you're probably going to have elderly people there. So take it easy on garlic. Elderly people have a really hard time digesting garlic. And you know, you don't want to kill grandma and grandpa or your aunts and uncles. You want everybody leaving with a good stomach. And for you young people that don't know, acid reflux, it's a real thing. Now I'm going to taste this. tastes good, but I can taste the granules. You still taste that sugar, so I'm gonna continue to stir it. So I went ahead and got me a couple of deviled eggs out. This is how you'll do it tomorrow. So just take them. Don't be greedy. Everybody likes a nice filled deviled egg. You take a little bit of that paprika. Sprinkle it right on there. I'm sure you can see it. I can't see it like this. It's so good, everybody. My partner wants a deviled egg. Those are delicious. I'm gonna go ahead and put the lids back on the mayonnaises. Good. We'll go ahead and put these back in the refrigerator so they don't spoil. One of the worst case of food poisoning I ever got was when I was young. From spoiled Mary's Lips. Uh-huh. Oh, you want another one? Fine. Let's bring me another egg too. Nice thing is I won't be full tomorrow. This is normally why I'm not hungry at the end of the day whenever Thanksgiving comes, because if I do this on Thanksgiving Day. Oh yeah. A little bit of paprika.
Tried to cheat me out of my paprika.
I'm doing something to my hip, everybody. I don't know what's going on. I'm getting old, I guess. Look young but feel old. Or I don't feel old. My body's just falling apart. This I can tell you. Those are good. Okay. Now we put this in the refrigerator so it doesn't get all late. But I don't want to tell everybody something. So this mixture I just made. If I went over here and I got my potatoes and I just took the potato peel off, I could put this in my potatoes and I would have potato salad. If I just took the eggs, the white eggs, and I chopped them up in here and I put it on a piece of bread, I'd have egg salad sandwich. At Christmas, if I had leftover ham, which I will, I'll take the ham, chop it up, put it in here, and then I have ham salad sandwiches. This dish right here is one of the most multi-versatile dishes you can have, and you can simply just put practically any meat in it and call it that sandwich, you know. But it's a great multi-versatile dish. Okay, so now I'm gonna, what am I gonna do? Oh. Okay, so right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and drain my potatoes. so here's my potatoes. Done with my sweet relish. Put it up. Done with the granulated sugar for now. Put it up. Okay. So remember when I was telling you earlier that you don't have to peel your potatoes, that you'll be fine if you just take your potato, slice it down the middle. You're gonna pop it open like this, push it over, and you're just gonna push it down. And those peels will just come right off just like this. And we're gonna put them right over there in that basket. And I'll tell you that it's so much easier. I'm gonna go ahead and get a fork because those potatoes are hot. Those potatoes are hot, so I don't want to burn my fingers. Go ahead and cut it, turn it over, take the fork, press it down like that, take the peel off, and you just keep repeating that. You just take the potato and put it into your bowl. And with this, you don't want them to get too cool, but you also don't want them to be too hot. You see how I'm still able to do that with my fingers, but I'm not down in the potato because the potato itself is still very warm. I mean, they did just boil. And I don't know if you've ever been around elderly people that come, oh, you're wasting too much for the potato when you peel it. Well, guess what? There's no waste to the potato. Those made all come. You're literally just throwing away the peel. So, Grandma, you have nothing to complain about. So, go take a nap. You know, it's so hard for the older generations to think that the younger generation possibly know how to peel a potato. But I can show you we can, or at least some of us can. Tater down. We've lost a tater. It's okay. It's not milk, so we're not gonna cry about it. Sorry, y'all, if I'm being a little bit quiet. I get a little zoomed out sometimes. I get focused, potato focused, laser focused on my taters. Let's do my potato focus in there a couple of times. Okay, everybody, so this is what I'm going to add for my seasoning into my potatoes. But another thing I did want to say about my deviled eggs is if you're somebody that likes spice, you could add a little sriracha sauce to the top of that deviled egg to make it go bam. You could add some, instead of sweet relish, you could always add jalapeno peppers into it. That's not something I would do for holiday deviled eggs, but if on a barbecue or something, if you like spice, that's really the way to go. Add some jalapenos instead of the sweet relish. Add a little bit of sriracha sauce. Fry you up a little bit of bacon. Put on top of it. You can do anything with a deviled egg. So I'm going to go ahead and add some salt to my potato salad. I'm going to say this about, it's a lot of potato salad, so I'm going to say at least a teaspoon of potato salad. This ain't potato salad, this is mashed potatoes. So a teaspoon of salt for my mashed potatoes. This is a secret ingredient for a really light whipped egg. Is one egg into your potatoes to have a nice whipped potato. And I'm gonna use a whole stick of butter. What I'll do though is I will cut it up. I'm not gonna stick the whole stick in there whole, but I'll cut it up in there. Those potatoes are still nice and warm. So they should be able to melt that butter fairly easy. I'm gonna be using my mixer, so I'm just gonna go ahead and use my mixer right now. Oh yeah, I was adding seasoning. So I'm gonna add some onion powder. And season to taste, honestly. If you like onion powder, add as much as you like. Now I will tell you this, if you're not used to cooking, don't think you're adding spice when you're adding onion, because you're not, you're adding sweetness. And then if you're using onions like a chopped onion, you're not adding that onion for fire or heat. All that onion is gonna do is make your dish sweeter. And if you add a lot of onions to certain dishes, it'll actually make your dish too wet, because if you fry onions up, you can actually make a gravy out of it. It's called onion gravy. So be careful with onions. They're not what you actually think. They're not spicy. But a lot of people hate onions. So if your spouse, not to say if you're allergic to an onion, that's different. But if you just don't like the texture of an onion, and my sister used to be like this, I don't like onion, I don't like onion. So what I would do is I would put it in the mixer and I, obliterate it so it would make my dish. So I'm gonna get my mixer so I can mash my potatoes. And yes, this is a dish that you can do a day before Thanksgiving, because it's either a dish I do a day before Thanksgiving or it's the last dish I do before I serve it on Thanksgiving Day. But you can warm a potato up very easily. You don't have to wait until Thanksgiving Day. It's all about prerogative when it comes to that. So I'm gonna add a little bit of milk. I'm gonna start off with 1/4 of a cup of milk. fourth of a cup and a couple dribbles. I'm gonna step over here and I'm gonna mix this. Close your ears if you're sensitive to noise, close your ears. Okay, so my pies are done. I can smell them. Plus, I just started to smoke, so I'm gonna go ahead and take them out of the oven. Okay, so what I'm doing is I took my pies out of the oven. And they're all three done at the same time. I do want to show you what I meant about using a pie thing. Look at that. I did go over, so look, that would have been in the bottom of my oven and made a mess. So even on the copper pan, right there, I would have made such a mess in the bottom of the oven. So what I'm going to do is turn my oven back down to 350 because I am going to be putting cinnamon rolls in my oven. So right now I'm going to go ahead and straighten up my workspace. So, remember those dinner rolls I did? So they're about ready. They've risen. And when that oven goes back down to 350, I'm gonna open this up a little bit so that I can cool down a little bit quicker. Okay, so right now, I think what I'm going to do, let's see. I think I'm going to go ahead and focus on my cinnamon rolls before I get those done. In the workspace. What I'll do is go ahead and put some of the flour down so it doesn't stick to the surface. I'm using the rose dough. I'm using rose dough and see is out of the room. That potato I dropped earlier about took me out, everybody. Forgot to clean it up. I slipped on it. Glad you guys couldn't see that on camera. Okay, so I got sidetracked. So what happened? I'm gonna step over here and I'm gonna finish my mashed potatoes up. I'm gonna add a little bit of more milk to those potatoes. I added about a fourth of a cup. Okay, everybody, so I got my mashed potatoes done. Look at that. Nice. Everything has turned out so wonderful. I'm so thankful. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take these packages that came with the pie, the crumble top, and I'm going to go ahead and make sure I read the instructions. And I don't think there's any more to that room. Okay, so I'm going to add the brown sugar crumble top, and it says that stick it back in the oven for 15 more minutes, but I'm not going to do that tonight. What I'll do is add the topping tonight, and then tomorrow I'll put them back in for 15 more minutes to warm them up, just so we have a nice warm pie. What I've done is I've set my pie dough in the other room where it can start cooling. If you don't, it had actually cooked right to the point of if it would have cooked any longer, it would have been a little bit overcooked. So I don't want. Hold on a second, I want to cut my finger off. But anyway, I don't want the pie to keep cooking, so I make sure I put it in a cool room. And now I'm going to go add the crumb topping to it. I'll be right back.
So this is what it looks like with the crumb topping on it, like this. I should have showed you what it was like the before, but I'm going to show you the apple the before. So that's the goodness, cherry pie. So this is what the apple pie looks like before you get that crumble on it. Set that there. Go ahead and get the crumble. Here it is. And place it. Get it around me. And you just take it. You roll it and then you just dump it on there. If you want to get it on there evenly, don't walk around it and try to do it that way. Don't stand in one place. Try to do it. You turn it around like this to where that side is. And you should be pretty even when you're done. You just want to make sure that you stop and look, make sure you're make sure you're covering it all good. And you just take it and swirl it around there. And voila. There you have your apple pie with the crumble on it. What a difference. Okay, so these are the dinner rolls that I put in here a little bit ago. I'm going to go ahead and pop those into the oven for 20 minutes. Alexa, set a timer for 20 minutes.
20 minutes, starting now.
Hey, Philip. Would you do me a favor? Would you go ahead and straighten that area up? You're not on camera. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is start working on my cinnamon rolls here. I'll start rolling my dough out. What you want to do is when you're rolling out your cinnamon rolls, you want to make them under about 1/8 of an inch thick.
Okay, so what I have here is my cinnamon roll bread. You want to kind of square if you can get it. It don't have to be perfect. I'll be using the brown sugar, cinnamon, and butter. So what I'll do is I'm going to take my butter and put it in the microwave because it's too cold, but then I'll just do this. Spread that out. I'm going to take the cinnamon. And they are cinnamon rolls, so you want to be very generous with your cinnamon. This ain't the time to be selfish. Selfish part comes later when the dishes need to be done. All of a sudden you have a bad angle. Then it's time to be selfish. Anyway, I will now take my brown sugar. Okay, and I like using dark brown sugar myself. And I will take it and put over it all, just very generous. And I mean generous. You know how the middle of your cinnamon roll is always ooey and gooey? Well, you want your whole cinnamon roll to be ooey and gooey, not just the inside. So that's why you use the cinnamon to get it to your edges. Use a little more than you think you want to use. Do that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a little more cinnamon, sprinkle over that. And we're not going to go long way. We're going to go side to side, not from. We're going to roll from the width, not from the length. So I'm going to take it. Try to get this first one nice and I started off nice and under. You take it and you pull it, turn 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 it. I hope you can see this. I'll take this, I'll pull it a little bit, and then I'll turn it again, I'll just keep doing that. And this time I'm going to start down at this end, I'm going to pull, and I'm going to turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, pull, and turn it. I'm going to go ahead and go down from this end one more time, and I'm going to turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, pull, and turn it. Now, what I'm going to do is, we got a little hole. Turn it, turn it, turn it, turn it, pull, turn it. Now when we get down on this last roll, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it, pull it, pull it, and then we're going to pinch it. Okay, now I need I know a lot of people use strings and what have you not. I'm not going to use. I'm going to use a nice sharp knife. what I'm gonna do, put my plate underneath there, and then I'll cut it. I need another, need a pan. I'm gonna spray my pan down with the non-stick spray. And put these in here so. And on these ends where they're pinch them so they hopefully stay together. I was sitting here racking my brain thinking, where's my other glass pan that I need for cinnamon rolls? It just dawned on me, the turkey set in it. Okay, so that I got one of these set with cinnamon rolls in them. I'm gonna set them over here. The stove. No, my oven's on, but the stove isn't on. I'm gonna go ahead and finish cutting these. Take more flour, sprinkle it down. I got these more rolls here. Anybody who's not used to cooking or is new to cooking, you can see cooking is fun, but it also is a lot of work. But the love you put into it should be the love you get back from your family and your friends or associates that you're cooking for. If you go through all this work, if somebody doesn't say thank you tomorrow, grab the spatula that you cook with and slap them with it. Luckily for me, my partner helps me a great deal when I'm cooking. He's helping right now. He's cleaning the the dirty pots and the pans and getting them organized and, getting them straight so I can continue on to the next thing. Or else I'd be spending a lot of time cleaning, and I don't think that would go well for a live stream video. I'm not for sure how long.
Almost 2 hours.
Oh my goodness, I've been going on for 2 hours. It does not seem like that. I hope this is okay for a live video to be this long.
4 or 5 hours.
But I mean, it is what it is. I hope somebody's watching, and I hope somebody does watch it. And even if you watch it at a later date, that's fine too. I guess I'll take this time to ask people to like the video and to please subscribe to it. I'm trying to do me, and getting this channel up and going is part of that. And I would appreciate it if you could be part of that. And there's my other pan. It magically appeared. It was holding the turkey. And speaking of turkey, if you buy a frozen turkey, the ideal time to take your turkey when you buy it from the store frozen is 4 days before Thanksgiving if it's around 13 and above pounds. And it doesn't matter how many pounds, 4 days is plenty for even a big turkey, but that is what they recommend is 4 days for a 13 or above pound turkey to give it time to thaw out so you can get all the giblets and all the good stuff out of the middle. So now I'm going to add butter to my cinnamon roll, these cinnamon rolls that I'm making. Add that nice butter all over there. Don't be scared to get it around the edges. It's a little bit more than I added last time, but that's okay. Now I'll add the cinnamon. Use all that cinnamon up out of that one, so I'll get another cinnamon. And I'm going to go ahead and use McCormick so we can just have all the same exact cinnamon. And I really do like McCormick's seasonings. They're really good. You want to make sure you get this nice and cinnamony. They are cinnamon rolls. Okay, so then I'm going to add my brown sugar. Use my other hand that doesn't have butter all over it. Just put all that brown sugar all over these cinnamon rolls. So that's that. And once again, I'm going to take these and I'm going to roll them side to side. Not a long way, but widthways. I'm going to take it, pull it, round it out. Take it, pull it, round it. Take it, pull it, roll it. Roll it. Roll it. And you just take these ends and you pull them, roll it, take the end, you pull it, roll it. Roll it. Take the end, pull it, and roll it. Roll it, roll it. Take the end, pull it, roll it. I'm going to go ahead and spray my pan and I'm going to put the cinnamon rolls in with the non-stick olive oil spray. And what I'll do is I'll just drape this over this pan. I'm going to go ahead and cut the butt off the cinnamon roll at the very end. And then I'll start. Now I'll cut these about, I'm going to say 1/4 of an inch. Take them and just set them down. Like so. Just pinch the ends so they don't open up. should try the string sometime. It'd be easier.
One of our viewers, Fat Dog 432, has told you to make faster. Another viewer commented, Bill Will 88 said, pull it and roll it, making sound so dirty.
Just try to make sure you pinch your cinnamon roll in so they don't do what I just did. Okay, this is kind of what
I have no idea what that timer's for.
Alexa, stop.
What's in the oven? One of our viewers wants me to throw flour in her
Are you kidding me?
hair. Fat Dog 432.
Oh.
Fat Dog. Of course, right?
Hey, fat dog, you want to eat tomorrow? That's my son. He's talking. He's watching me from his house. Okay, everybody, so there's the cinnamon rolls, and I'm gonna set them over here. Allow them to get yay big, and while those are getting done, go ahead and clean up my work area here. Okay, everybody, so I'm gonna go ahead and let my cinnamon rolls rise, and I'm gonna take a little bit of a break. We've done the potato salad, we've made a cherry pie, a peach pie, and a cherry pie. We've made mashed potatoes for tomorrow, and I'm gonna go ahead and let these cinnamon rolls rise for a while. And I'm gonna go ahead and take a break, and I'll be back in a while and finish. Maybe I'll do another live stream. Maybe I'll just make a video. It'll be a live stream. It seems like it's going really good for me tonight. So, if you come across this, remember to like and subscribe. Much appreciated. And I'll see you guys in a little bit for the finishing part 2 to this video. Bye.
How do you stop it? I can't see it. Come over here and try to stop this.
Well, my hands are off.
No, okay.
So start a poll, question, answer.
Yeah, still going.
Oh,
Okay.
it is still going. So
What do I do? It's here on the phone. I can see it.